Simcha, celebration, Simcha, Simcha, celebration of life.
Hello and welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm your host, Aaron Halevi. Darna Restaurant in Israel is a kosher Moroccan restaurant owned by Moroccan-born Ilan Sibony. Occupying a beautiful 200-year-old building in the heart of Jerusalem, Darna tells the story of Moroccan hospitality, which has endured for centuries. This magical place takes its patrons on a journey in space, time, and Moroccan taste.
I came in Israel the first time in '68. I was a very strong Zionist, so I wanted to go to the kibbutz, and I went to Niram, a kibbutz in the south, where I lived 7 years. In these 7 years, I also went to the army, and after that, after 7 years, I understood that I prefer the wheat than the people that I lived with in the kibbutz, so I decided to move somewhere, and I came to Jerusalem. And in Jerusalem, I went to learn architecture in Bezalel for 3 years. Architecture was something that I always liked, loved, but I didn't know that I would be there. And because my parents died before, so I didn't have any way to make a living, so I opened a little restaurant of 4 tables that I said this restaurant will pay my studies. But the restaurant went so well that after 3 years of doing both restaurant and limudim and studies, I couldn't go on with that. And the restaurant, which was at Srif, became the place in Jerusalem. And after 25 years, I left Morocco. I finally went to Morocco, and I saw the beautiful Morocco that I knew, but I just kind of forgot. And I came back to Israel, and I said, I have to show people how beautiful it is. The name of the restaurant is Darna. I looked for a name for the restaurant for a very long time, and I think that Darna was the only name who fit, because Darna means our home, and Moroccan are very known for their hospitality. So when people come to Darna, we always say to them, Darna Darkum, our home is your home. This place, this restaurant, was a Chinese restaurant. So I went back to Morocco and forward something like all year, and I brought everything you see here. First, I felt like a nice lady who has a nice credit card that she can buy whatever she wants. And I went to Morocco on a buying trip. Very, very, very interesting. I looked for whatever is the best in Morocco, and I tried to bring the best of Morocco to Israel. For instance, this floor, it's pieces that if you look nice, you look well, you will find that here there is a triangle of 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, 3 times 1 centimeter, which is really little piece. And I brought the people to put it here on the floor, piece by piece. It's not one piece. It's really mosaic, called gelige. The zellige are the stone that we put on the floor. The people who do them, they know how to do it, but they always will put a little carpet from one room to another. So when you come from this room to this room, you need a little carpet. When you go from the other room to the other room, you will need another one. And the way they do this design is they begin by the middle, and they go like this, on all the 4 sides. And where you are, there is a little carpet, and here another little carpet, and here, and that's the way they do it. It's part of making beautiful, but this is a stone that when you walk in the summer, it's fresh. When you walk without shoes in the winter, it's hot. The arches are made of a sandstone from Salé, close to Rabat, the capital. The walls are made out of tadlak, which is a stucco made in Morocco. The lamps, the chairs, everything. The windows, the doors. I just enjoyed bringing all that stuff. Because I learned architecture, it helped me very much to do that.
Welcome back. Moroccan architecture is a blend of African and Islamic design styles. Turbulence in the history of Morocco is clearly seen in the strong desert fortifications and the well-protected palace walls. It is also the style with which Moroccans choose to decorate the interiors of buildings that gives these architectural wonders a unique and majestic atmosphere. From the inception of his restaurant Darna in Jerusalem, Ilan Sibony has done everything possible to fulfill his commitment to preserve the culture of Moroccan hospitality, from its culinary excellence to its warm welcome in the spirit of the Maghreb or Western North Africa. A visit to Darna is an experience of the essence of traditional Morocco in all its glory.
This building, it's a very old building built by the Turks. It's something like 200 to 300 years old. And the vaults were here. So I had to connect all that to Morocco. In Morocco also we have vaults like this, but I wanted to have the feeling of that the people could feel how heavy are the walls. So for instance, here you can see a wall that is 1 meter thick. And this 1 meter thick, the wall was closed. So I did an opening to show how wide is the wall. And it was very important to give the authentic touch. So I brought some very old doors from Morocco. Some of the doors I put in the place. Some I cut and I make some furniture out of it, like little cabinets. It was a very, very interesting process. The doors come from Rabat, and they are very old doors. And as you see, the hinges are in the top and in the floor. There is nothing in the middle. The stone in the arches are also, I knew that I have a 1.40 meter entrance, so I brought the stone and in pieces, and I put them here. You can see the connection here and there, and it was the right white. The windows, I find them in Rabat, in a shop, so I did another wall to fit, to put the window in the wall, because the real window is after that. This material is called haïté. Haïté means walls. These are the walls of the tent in Morocco. So I brought this from a guy who makes tents in Morocco. And then I had to cover my cushions with another material. And I bought from another place the material for the cushion. Now, if you look, you will see that there is one flower under every one. And this was not done on purpose. It's just that the tradition is so strong in Morocco that they will never do a flower which is not the same width like the haïté. So it always goes one under the other, because they can't do it 60 centimeters. It's 50 always. So they don't ask you, how wide would you like the design? They just do it the way they do it. And I understood that after I did it, not before. And for me, it's something very special. The tradition is very strong. The opening was supposed to be the 5th of November, 95. And the person who was supposed to come for the opening was Yitzhak Rabin to make the grand opening. And the 4th of November, I was here arranging some bouquets, some flowers for the day after, but Yitzhak Rabin was killed, assassinated the night before, Saturday night, the 4th of November. So we never opened the 5th of November, and we don't have a date, but it was 20 years ago. Everybody who did things came from Morocco. The people who put the floor on are from Morocco. There is a Jerusalem stone wall. This means that we are outside the building. So we brought a tent to give you the feeling of being in a tent in Morocco, but the cold of Jerusalem in the winter make us enclose the tent from outside. We first did all the ceiling with wood, then we take the ceiling down. 8 months of work, 1 little brush, a lot of patience, and a little paint. When a young guy comes from a bar mitzvah, I give them a little speech also. And I said to them, you see, I have some white hair, if I have hair at all. This means that I have a little experience in life. So I would like to share some of my experience with you. And they say, okay. I said, from today, you promise to yourself, and only to yourself, whatever you will do in your life, you have to mean it. You have to want to do it. In Hebrew, it's called kavanah. For instance, football. There is a ball, there is your leg, and there is a goal. You mean it, the ball is in the goal. And that's right for everything in life. And that's really everything in life. You have to mean it, and you have to be open.
Over the centuries, Moroccan cuisine has been influenced by Morocco's interactions and exchanges with other cultures and nations. Moroccan cuisine is typically a mix of Mediterranean, Arabic, Andalusian, and Berber cooking. The cooks in the royal kitchens of Fez, Meknès, Marrakesh, Rabat, and Tétouan created the basis of what is today known as Moroccan cuisine.
I always say that in life, if you learn how to learn, then you don't have how to learn how to do something. I learned architecture, which is exactly like cooking. What is architecture? It's listening to you, what are your wishes, and to try to make it come true. The same with cooking. You have all the vegetables that you find in the market, and you have to do with that something. So, because I wanted to do authentic Moroccan restaurant, I closed myself in this cooking. So I went to Rabat, to Touarga, which is the king palace in Touarga, and I knew people who introduced me, and I learned there with the Dada. Dada are very old women that once upon a time were slaves. They become free, but since they knew only how to cook, they didn't want to leave the kitchen, and they stayed there. So we call them Dada, which is kind of grandmother, and they are wonderful, big ladies. They cook like you never saw something like this. So the food in Morocco is perhaps one of the best cuisine of the world, with the French one, the Italian one, the Chinese one. And at Darna, for instance, I introduced 20 years ago the pastilla. Pastilla, no one ate pastilla in Israel. Pastilla is a filo dough filled with Cornish hen. In Morocco, it's with pigeon, almonds, and eggs. It's covered with sugar, custard sugar, and cinnamon. And this is a delicacy. It's something very, very special and very tasty. Now I'll show you the pastilla. We have two ways to do it. If it's a big one, we usually do it in the oven, which is the best way to do it. If they are little, we fry them And then we put them in the oven to take out the oil and to reheat the inside. But the pastilla, everything is already cooked. It's just the dough that we want crispy and nice. And when I did the first pastilla in Israel, people were just crazy about it. They didn't, even the Moroccan, they didn't knew that the pastilla was Moroccan, because it's a dish that the Muslims, the Arabs, did in Morocco, and it was not kosher because they used some butter, you know, like old butter that they keep in jars and have a flavor of like something bad. But when you are used to it, it's the taste of it, so it's not bad, it's good. So in Morocco, we never use it because you don't mix butter and chicken. So I did it with oil, and it's very okay. It's very tasty. Now, on top of this, we put some custard sugar. I know that it seems to you a little bit strange. And then we decorate it with some cinnamon. And this is the pastilla ready to eat.
Regarded as one of the great cuisines of the world, Moroccan cooking abounds with subtle spices and intriguing flavor combinations that make it unique. Darna's dishes are witness to the influences of the local Berber, wandering Arab tribes, and the Spanish Moors, which all left their mark on Moroccan cuisine.
The reason I opened this restaurant was that I was very sorry that in Israel the Moroccan cuisine was something that you find in Gazole station, and they do only shakshuka and couscous every Thursday and Tuesday. And I said we have to show the real way of doing the Moroccan dish, because they are very, very rich, very special, very nice. There is a joke in Israel about a Moroccan guy who asked his wife what is missing at this table with 3 legs. So instead of saying the fourth, he said the salads. And that's right. You can't begin a Moroccan meal without 10 to 20 salads. This is a must. Here we have some eggplant cooked first on the fire, and then we take out the inside of it and we mix it with some peppers and parsley, a little garlic, olive oil, and lemon. Here you have the fava beans with cumin. Here it's the matboucha. Matboucha, it's cooked tomatoes and peppers cooked together with hot paprika, cumin, olive oil. Here we have something very simple but very nice, potatoes with onion and vinegar and parsley. The red beet, carrots with cumin and paprika, very, very nice also. It's a mix of sweet and salty and spicy and hot, and you have to mix all of that, and it's wonderful. In Marrakesh, they used to do a salad, very, very interesting. The children would come back from school, and in the main street of Marrakesh, in the Geliz, there is some orange trees, but they were not orange, they were khushkhash. Khushkhash are oranges, sour oranges. And so the child would pick 1 or 2 oranges, go home, mommy would take out the peel, cut it in very little squares, and add some black olive, some harissa, and cumin, and this is a very fresh, very interesting salad with black olives and orange and harissa. I always say that North Africa, you have Morocco, Algeria, Tunis, and Libya. These 4 countries, the hot stuff, the very peppered stuff is from Libya. Tripoli, it's known for very hot cuisine. After that, Tunisia is also very hot. Then Algeria was very influenced by the French, so it's something different. And Morocco, it's almost sweet. And people in Israel made a mishmash of all that things, and they all think that Morocco is very hot, which is not true. Main courses, we have tagine. Tagine, it's a clay pot with a conus lid, and I call it the oven of the poor, because you don't need an oven. This dish and this conus lid are a kind of oven. You put it on the fire, because the tagine, it's cooked in not at the right temperature. Usually when you do pottery, you put it in 1000 centigrade degrees. Here in Morocco, they do it only 800. Because it's not the right temperature, they don't break when you put it on the fire. So always, my motto is turn defect to effect. And this is exactly what it is. The not well-cooked pottery are better than the well-cooked pottery because it didn't become glass. It's still pottery, and you can put it on the fire. In the tagine, you can cook anything. For instance, lamb, which is a very popular dish in Morocco. You take a lamb shoulder, cut it like ossobuco, with a bone in the middle and the marrow, and you cook it in the tagine with onions, prunes, apricots, and nuts. And it's called mourouzia. It's excellent. So you add to this some honey, and at the end, because if you cook it with the honey in the beginning, it will stick. You can have veal that you cook with chickpeas, hot peppers, or barley, which is also excellent. Chicken with preserved lemon and olives, wonderful. For me, it's very important. I love to create, and after this creation, I didn't create anything more, which is, in a way, I'm sorry for that, for me. But on the other hand, I wanted to show how elite is the Moroccan cuisine, so I couldn't change this authentic Moroccan cuisine. And here I came to visit some very, very important people like Jacques Chirac, the French president, or Mikhail Gorbachev, Hillary Clinton, Silvio Berlusconi, Giorgio Armani, and they all love it. And also people like you and me who love good food. And people always ask me, is it a dream come true? I said, no, I never dreamed of this. It happened to me, and I'm very happy that I did it.
Well, that's all we have for this week's episode of Simcha, a celebration of life. As always, we'd love to hear from you, so please send us a message on Facebook at Spirit Sister Productions. From me, Aaron Halevi, and the Simcha team, have a great week ahead.